Hey, this is Lacey, your Las Vegas gal, here with a small business spotlight. This is kind of a new thing I'm starting to do on the channel, and I don't know if you follow me anywhere on social media or even listen to kind of what I'm saying in some of my other videos. Small business owners are some of my favorite people in the entire world, and I think it's because I have a really good example. This is my mom, Debbie McCarty. She's the owner of Sin City Knit Shop here in Las Vegas, the #1 knit shop in all of Las Vegas. So if you're a knitter or a crocheter or a fiber arts lover, this is where you come to hang. This is where you come to find indie dyers and indie yarn. This is where you come to learn new projects, take classes, and really just be part of the yarn loving community here in Las Vegas. So I think I fell in love with small business owners a long time ago, and I think it's really because I watched you and Dad as we were younger, growing up, starting businesses, running businesses. I mean, you guys have been entrepreneurs pretty much my whole life, which is an awesome thing to have. So I just wanted to introduce my mom to you guys today, take a little bit of time to chat with her about her business, and kind of, I don't know, get a little insight on why I am who I am. So how you doing, Mom?
Sounds great. I'm doing good.
Welcome to the show, right?
Oh boy, yeah, that's right. Brings back memories.
I know.
Brings back memories. We had moved to Las Vegas when you were little.
I know, it's like 89.
About 1989. And the reason we did was because we had a show band.
Yeah.
And so we had bookings that were booked several years in advance. So hello, we can't keep the kids one place and come. So the whole family moved out here. A lot of people don't know. I mean, I make it a point to let people know that my Vegas roots run deep because, you know, I really grew up in Vegas. I've been here since I was 9. And even when we weren't in Vegas, I like to say that back in Kansas City, where we're from, it was like we had a mini Las Vegas in our house. You know, we had one of those, what were those mirrored balls that you used to hang on stage. That I remember that sitting in the living room for a while. You and Dad performed on stage and toured the country and performed music and danced, and it was very showbiz family. And until we got to Las Vegas, none of my friends really understood why my parents weren't home at night for dinner, or you guys were always traveling. And when we moved to Vegas, it was finally like, oh, these are my people. Everybody here, everybody here parents work weird hours. They work in the casinos. They are also weird performers or whatever, or Elvis impersonators or whatever. And like here, we actually have grocery stores.
Yeah.
We have playgrounds. We have parks. We have churches.
Even back in 1989, we had all of that.
Right. Libraries. So there is, a big family
dynamic
here in Las Vegas. I mean, it's a way of life.
Yeah.
You get used to it.
Yeah.
The glitz and glitter never goes away, but it does get a little dimmer for you.
Yeah.
And it's really a good place to live.
Yeah.
It's a very good place to live.
My entire purpose for doing my channel and all the social media stuff I do is about helping people learn how to live their best Las Vegas life. And that's of course dipping into the Strip and enjoying the entertainment and all those options available for the tourism, but really it's about sinking your teeth into the small business owners of the world and enjoying each and every pocket of the city and the hiking and the outdoor stuff and the parks and just everything that it's offered.
We're from the Midwest.
Yeah.
So we had 4 seasons.
Yeah.
And of course, when you were little, you were kind of backwards because you would put a bikini on and you would go out in the snow.
I know.
And then when it was the dead of summer with a lot of humidity,
Yeah.
I would look out there and you'd be in a snowsuit.
Yeah.
So, but that's
I've always been a little backwards, I guess.
That's a little strange, but it'll be in my book.
Yeah.
I'll be writing about it. Okay.
All right.
So,
I'm sure there'll be a few stories. Actually, speaking of stories, that's a good transition. I was going to ask you, before we get into talking about Sin City Knit Shop, I know it's your love, your passion. It's what we've all supported you in doing over the last 7 years. I think it'd be fun, just because so many people watch my channel who love Las Vegas, if we could just talk a little bit about the vintage Las Vegas days. So we moved here in 89, but you and Dad actually used to perform in Vegas in the 70s, right?
Yes, we did.
And you got married in the 70s.
Making me sound old.
Well, you're not that old. I mean, you were an infant at the time, Mom. You were 12 years old, maybe at the most. But so when you guys were out here in the 70s, tell me a little bit, just kind of what was it like? What did it feel like?
The sky was a lot brighter because there weren't as many skyscrapers.
And also as many neighborhoods lighting up the area.
And neighborhoods lighting up the area. And I remember standing in Las Vegas anywhere, and it was like, oh, there's not that many trees, which kind of hover around you. So it was like a big open space.
Almost like endless opportunity, and just you could just breathe in the mountains and all of it's around you.
It would be nothing for us to walk in a restaurant, walk down the strip, go to a grocery store. We saw Rodney Dangerfield at Vaughn's at Russell Road in Pecos.
Yeah.
One time. And we saw...
Did we see what was the guy from Sanford and Son? What's his name? Red Fox. Red Fox used to live here.
Yeah, we saw Red Fox and saw him. It was we were doing some kind of a show in a casino, and you kids were there. And the guy the singer that was in the babysitter, don't tell mom the babysitter's dead.
Oh yeah, I don't remember his name. The blues singer.
The blues.
Don't nobody leave this place without singing the blues. That guy.
He was in there, and he just fell in love with you guys. He got to meet him.
I remember meeting him.
Before you guys, we did meet with Ricky Nelson, and that was before he passed away. He was very, very shy.
Yeah.
Robert Goulet, of course, you did.
I did some
understudy.
work with him. Yeah.
With Robert Goulet, you were filled in and did his partner's understudy.
Yeah.
Until she got to town.
Yeah.
And he and his wife, they adored you.
Yeah, and they're still.
Were you, 15 years old?
I was 14. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I still keep in touch with Vera Goulet on Facebook and stuff. Yeah, we're really good friends. But I mean, we had fun back in the day. I mean, that was kind of when we lived here. In the 70s, was it very different from when we finally moved and made the migration?
It was a little bit different because it started growing.
Yeah. Well, it was much bigger in 89 than it was in 77, 78, 79.
Yes, because we got married in 77 in Las Vegas.
Right. You got married at Cupid's Wedding Chapel, right? Yeah. But I remember the photo, your wedding photo was somewhere in the Lady Luck.
Luck be a lady or something.
Lady Luck Casino.
Lady
Luck Casino, yeah.
So
part of my story, and one of my favorite parts of my story that I tell people all the time when I'm talking about why I love Vegas so much, really has to do with you guys. I didn't have a normal upbringing, and I'm super grateful for that. Honestly, I would hate. I mean, and that's cool for those who did get that, but for me, it's like, yeah, life was tough times. Every family goes through struggles and stuff. But what I got to see was you guys busting your ass, basically, to put food on the table, raise 3 kids, and also do what you loved, which was performing and playing music. And I got to grow up watching you and Dad on stage. Like, you were my celebrities as a kid. I mean, you're still my celebrities, but some of my favorite things to do when I was younger was watch videotapes of you guys singing and dancing on stage, So when people talk to me about, I love Vegas because there's the great food and the great this, great that, and I say, I love Vegas because Vegas is home to me.
Yeah.
Vegas has always been home to me, and I didn't even know it until we moved here because you guys were essentially Vegas to me. Like, even when we were in Kansas City, we lived a very Vegas lifestyle, so...
We did, because we worked the
entertainers.
Dinner lounges and the big hotels and 6 nights a week.
I know. I mean,
sometimes 7.
I know, and so I mean, like, we didn't have a normal life, which I was okay with, and I actually like that.
I think about it now. We lived life to the fullest. Okay, when we were young, instead of working our butts off when we were young, and then waiting till we got old to live our lives to the fullest. Now we're working.
Now you're
our
like,
butts off.
We got to work our butts off to make up for it.
Just to make up. But I don't think I would change it.
Yeah.
I don't think I would change it. There's so many things that we got a chance to do that normal families don't.
Yeah.
And not that we're abnormal or special. It's just that was our way of life.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. It's some of my favorite stories. I want to tell one quick vintage Vegas story, if you'll help me tell it. It's one of my favorite stories that you tell. And then we'll get on to Sin City Knit Shop, of course, which is why we're here. But I loved when you used to tell me about all these old Vegas stories about how you'd play a casino lounge or something, and then the mob guys who used to run the casinos would invite you guys into dinner at 3 in the morning, and their Italian wives would come out and roll out the food, which was so fun.
Well, which was strange is that the people from back then, okay, they weren't gangs,
right?
And very well respected.
Yeah, they were posh,
connected to people in Kansas City, which is where we were from.
Yeah.
So they would many times call us in for a special thing and pay the band for the whole week's work just to do a
one-night gig or something.
A wedding, or to do a birthday,
right,
or an anniversary,
right,
or here this baby's getting born. Well, then we would finish playing that evening, and then they would say, "Oh, you're coming to the house. You're coming to the house." And dead tired as we were, of course,
3 o'clock in the morning,
4 in the morning, we would go.
Yeah.
And their poor little woman, poor little wife, would have been up, and there would be a 7 to 9 course meal waiting for us
at 3 in the morning.
At 3 or 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
And if we ever had any trouble, all we had to do was make a phone call.
Yeah.
But
those
we
were the
never
old
took
Vegas
advantage
days.
of that. We never did, you know,
because you don't want to take advantage of a favor and then get tied up in something that we don't know what's left.
But they always stood by us.
Yeah.
Always stood by us.
Yeah.
And
I think that's the part of, that's the romanticized part of Las Vegas, right? We all know that the mob and the mafia and all the stuff that was involved, all the stories, all the killing and the stealing and all of the stuff that was told, who knows what's up from down. History tells that story, but really there's such a softer side to it and really a more familial side to it that they took care of people, and the strip was clean, and people were expected to come in and act a certain way, and if they didn't, get out.
You would never see anybody without a suit or tuxedo and a formal gown
right
on.
Nobody could roll through with flip-flops.
You can't roll through with flip-flops and cutoffs and swimming trunks and skimpy tops.
Right.
No, it was to the teeth. It was to the nines. Just the best.
I think the one thing I miss the most, and I wasn't alive during those days, but even just when we first moved here, one of the things I thought was the coolest thing was we would walk into, you'd say, come on guys, put your clothes on, we're going to go to a show. We're going to go to a show on the strip. And we would go down to we got tickets to a show, and we would walk in, and instead of your tickets tell you where to sit, it was throw the Maitre D $20,
right.
and then he'll sit you as close as possible. And that the Maitre D doesn't exist anymore. And I think that's the one.
No, it doesn't.
And I get why. Obviously, people pay for tickets; they want to pay more for the better seats. But I just thought that was such a vintage Vegas kind of staple that stayed through kind of the early 90s, mid 90s, and then kind of went away with the way that the city has evolved. So I'm happy and grateful that you had me live here and grow up here, and this is why I am Las Vegas gal, and I'm enjoying it. And I think what's been really cool for me, and what I think I draw a lot of my drive from and just my ambition from, frankly, is watching you personally build several. I mean, I can't even count how many businesses you've built in my lifetime. You had a dance studio, very, very successful dance studio back in Kansas City. You're the most creative human being I know on the planet. My mom, I'm going to break the fourth wall. My mom is the most creative human being on the planet.
It's a sickness.
It is a sickness, but like if you see, oh, that's a cute top, that's $432 top, forget it, I'm gonna go figure out how to make that at home. And then 2 minutes later you have a full line of this kind of clothing that everybody around you wants to buy. Handbags, you've designed quilts, you've done toll painting, you've done woodwork. I mean, you've done it all. So when you said to me 7 years ago, oh, by the way, I'm starting a knit shop, I'm opening up a knit shop, a yarn store.
You weren't surprised.
I wasn't surprised, but I was like, now it's yarn? Like, okay, tell me more, So talk to me about kind of how that happened. You're an amazing small business owner. You've transitioned the yarn community and built a yarn community here in Vegas, which we'll talk about in a minute, but tell me more about like how the idea even sparked. Like, how did this become something?
It was kind of strange because I had been at home making my own one-of-a-kind handbags, anywhere from huge to small, and they were beautiful, one-of-a-kinds. And I had built a business for 5 years. So I would get up in the morning, I would take a shower, I would put on makeup, comb my hair, and put on a clean pair of pajamas, and I would go downstairs and sit and sew
all day.
Like 10 machines, and I would assembly line it. First I would put something on in a crock pot. I'd start a load of laundry, then I'd get my coffee, and then I'd listen to my news while I was sewing, and I would crank out, within a week, I could crank out 40, 50 bags. Now the bags would sell anywhere from $90 to $450. And I did that for 5 years. Well, during that 5 years, I was knitting, taking one evening off to go knit at a shop. And somebody left, and she said, could you fill in for me on Mondays?
Sure.
And I said, yeah. And she says, she said, if you do $50 for the day, I'll be happy. And I said, well, you're going to pay me more than that.
How are you staying in business with $50 a day?
And so I did. I said, yeah, I'll help you out till you find somebody. So I went in and did that, and within 2 weeks, we were doing $900 to $1,500 on a Monday every week, and the place was jammed because I would go home and knit something real quick and come back with the product. That week we would sell out of the yarn. Okay.
Well, and you also know how to merchandise, so you probably took that Monday to kind of move things and make it pretty, because I know you.
So then people were wanting to buy my bags because I'd carry a new one, and I did not feel right in selling them in her store. So, and I didn't want to sell them to her wholesale because then neither one would make money. So what I did was, I said, look, she said, no, just go ahead and sell them. I said, it's not fair. So I said, I tell you what, I said, I will keep the store open until 7 or 8 at night on a Monday. It'll be a long day for me.
Right.
But I will build your Monday night.
Right.
But don't pay me.
Yeah.
And if I sell a bag or two,
you're paid.
We're paid, okay? Right. So she did that.
Okay.
And I was happy to do it, and it built up.
Yeah.
And I did it for about 2 years.
Yeah, I remember. Yep.
When I decided to open a knit shop because somebody... I told her, I says, I need to move on.
Yeah.
Okay, you were supposed to have found somebody. It's been 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so now move on. Well, the same day that was my last day, a friend called and said, "What, you're leaving?" I said, "Yeah." I says, "I got to get back to my bag business."
Right, well, you got to get back to doing what you do.
And she said, "Well, why don't you open a knit shop?" I said, No. So it took us about a month, and we kicked it around. And I said, I don't really have all the funds.
Right.
I have this and this and this,
right,
which would start.
Right.
And she says, "No, I'll kick in some money."
Awesome.
And I said, okay. Well, it wasn't long till she was paid off.
Right.
We opened in 3 months, and it wasn't long until she was paid off.
Let's pause there. You opened a business, and you had the idea, got the funding, and opened a business in 3 months.
In 3 months.
Nobody does that.
Well,
nobody does that, Mom.
We started off kind of small, but I did start out with a huge selection of my bags.
Yeah.
Which that revenue brought in money to buy more product.
More yarn and product.
And it was it was in the middle of, it was July 2012.
Yep.
The middle of a hot July.
Now normally for knit shops,
election year.
I was gonna say normally for knit shops, they don't get business during the summer.
No.
It's because people think of knitting and it's warm, right? It's warm, it's wool, it's I'm knitting something for the hat or a scarf. They don't think of knitting as a summer project or summer activity. But you've really revolutionized that and turned it into, summer's your busiest time, right?
It's a very busy time. Yeah. Usually June is a little slower because people are getting out of school and they're going on their first vacations.
Right.
But, you see, we have in Vegas, we have snowbirds.
Yeah.
Okay, well, they leave, for the summer and go home. They come for the winter. So there's a whole new crew of people that come in.
Right.
There is a lot of knitters.
Yeah.
But we're in a town where people come from all over the world. And we have got many, many, many people from all over the world that know me by my first name.
Yeah.
And I was in Canada several years ago, sitting in the airport getting ready to leave. And, of course, I had gotten up at 4 in the morning to get to the airport to come home.
Yeah.
And
a little mini knitting celebrity.
And I looked and saw these people running through the airport. And I looked to see what they were running to. And I thought, is there fire or is they running from somebody? I thought, well, the closer they got to me, the more I realized they were running to me. Okay. And I thought, I didn't do my hair. I didn't have my makeup on. Are you Debbie? Are you Debbie? I kind of said, oh, my God, what have I done?
Right.
One was from Australia and one was from, I believe, London or the UK. Okay. And they were friends and they had met to go to Canada. The next stop was Vegas.
Oh, so they were already
planning. They were
to meet you.
knitters, and they had researched, and they had, I guess, seen some videos I did or something, Facebook Live or something.
Stuff that I made you do back in the day.
Yes, yeah. And they recognized me.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh my God, I'm in Toronto.
Yeah.
And here these people recognize me. So it's kind of spooky.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But I have to make sure that I look presentable when I go to the grocery store here because
people know you all over town.
Yeah. And
well, I think it's cool that, like I said, your friend sparked an idea. You guys put your heads together. Within 3 months, you were open. What I found fascinating was, first of all, like all of a sudden, my mom, I think I'm going to open a yarn shop, and then 3 months later, it's what? Where did this? I thought it was a year project you were going to work on, and then it would never happen, or knowing you, it would happen, and then bigger than anybody imagined. But what I found the most interesting was the way you so respectfully walked into this community, because this was a community that already had other knit shops set up.
And it was very close knit.
Very tight.
No pun intended.
Pun intended. We're talking about knitting. Yeah, so very tight knit community. Everybody knows everybody. And in this community, there's a knit shop all the way across town, 25, 30 minutes away. There's that knit shop that you used to work at. And was that it, right? Those two?
It was on the southeast.
On the southeast. And is that the only two that were open?
That was the only two at that time.
So what I loved about you was that you were so respectful. You said, I have to be far away from both of them. I don't want to be within arm's reach. I don't want to cannibalize their business. I want to join the community. I don't want to demolish the community.
I wanted to work together.
Work together, yeah. You were very cognizant from day one. Let's work together. I don't know that it was received that way by the other people. No. Of course, nobody definitely who's been in business 20-something years, likes any competition. But I just was really impressed with the way you went about it, and I think that says a lot about your character, but also your mindset as a business owner. I think mindset in this business, especially as a small business owner, is the key to making things work.
Well, you can't have
have a bulldoze mentality.
You can't have everything.
Right.
Okay. But when you reach out and you think about other people, for instance, they weren't interested in working in yarn crawls.
Right. Yarn crawls, which is to go from one to the next. It's like a pub crawl.
Or special events.
Right.
I said, that's fine. I said, I've got a business plan. I'm just going to do what I planned on doing.
Right.
But I was courteous enough to come this far,
to
go this far.
Well, you put the olive branch out. Hey, let's work together.
And I said, if there's somebody that wants something that I don't have, and I know you do, I'm going to send them to you.
Right.
So that paid off.
Well, and I think I learned. I'm very much about that as well. You know, I obviously being in real estate, I go out of my way to teach classes to other realtors to show them how to get better and do marketing for their business and really grow, because I just believe that when we all do better, we all win. There's enough pie for everyone. And I don't even know where I learned it, but now just hearing you say that, I think I learned it from you.
Probably did.
So, but really my saying is collaboration over competition, right? Let's collaborate. We are competitors, but let's collaborate. Let's figure out how we can help each other be better. Let's network. Let's make it work. So you opened the knit shop. I know you opened in a very small little, what was it, 1,000 square feet?
I think it was about
1,300?
About 1,200 square feet, and it was across the parking lot from this
from where
one.
we're at right now. So within, I mean, I could see very quickly that, you know, not only because you know how to merchandise and because of your personality and you're very warm and welcoming and you know, that wasn't the case at the other shops. You know, I think that they had gotten a little
probably they had
set in their ways, and
they were tired.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, that happens to any business owner.
And they were just tired. But again, we came on with the internet.
Sure.
And internet
and that
sales.
Helps. Yeah.
Okay, now this hurt them. Okay, and this hurt them. So I didn't worry too much about that. Okay, I just thought I'm going to do what I got to do.
Yeah.
But my ticket was, I want people to feel comfortable here.
Yeah.
So I let people come in and say, this is open, free knitting, free crocheting, open time. Bring your project. I don't care what you're knitting on.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't my yarn.
Right. It doesn't matter because it's part of the community. You're building
people are going to have
community.
their own stash.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And but once they came in and started building friendships, and we had potlucks, and we would order lunch, share and help each other. Got a knit doctor, got a crochet doctor. Started holding classes.
Yeah.
I know I had, this is a cute story, and I'll be quick with it, but I had a rep that showed up. The first time
a sales rep for yarn?
For sale. And the first time he came, I'd been open 2 weeks. And he walked in, and I said, well, where's your suitcases and stuff? Bring it in.
I want to buy yarn.
Yeah, and he said, well, I want to look around first. Well, it kind of disturbed me a little bit. In fact, I was a little bit upset over it.
Well, I would have been too.
And I thought, you know, I'm a brand new business owner, and you're going to see if I'm good enough for you, is probably what, you know, he was thinking. And he walked in, he said, I see you got some yellow in the store. And I said, well, of course. I said, that brings everything together. He goes, you know that? I said, yes, I do. And he says, so he comes in, and so he was going to sell me this one. He had this bag of one line of yarn, and he said, I have to tell you, by law, I have to offer it to you to be able to purchase it. But the other shop in town, this is their baby. And I said, well, I never said I wanted to see that, and I don't. I said, I'm not going to step on anybody's toes.
Yeah.
He said, you don't want to see it? And I said, no, I don't, you know. And so about a month later, now this was probably 1st of September or something, we had one, I mean, the place was so packed, I was scared the fire marshal was going to
I know, I've been there. I was there trying to help.
Day.
I was, oh my God, it was all of a sudden.
It was so packed, and it was a Saturday morning, and he was going through town, and he opened the door, and he could just barely get in the door. And I'm behind the register, and I said, hey, Jim, how you doing? He said, is there something special going on today? And
just a typical Saturday.
I couldn't resist. I went, no, it's kind of slow. So, and I said, I'll be with you in a minute. I said, there's a park bench outside. We'll go sit out there and visit.
Right.
You know. Yeah. He and his wife owned a yarn shop in California on the beach. And he said, well, what are you doing? And I said, it's the business plan I had. I invite people in. He said, I have never seen this many people in a knit shop of any size. And I said, it's growing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, then he wanted to be my new best friend.
Well, of course.
Which was fine because he was a very nice man.
Right.
But I just wanted to bring the community together.
Yeah.
And
you did.
And
you
I
did.
did. And anybody is welcome as long as they behave themselves.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell people.
Yeah.
And
I think it was especially interesting for me to watch and hear what people said. You know, the yarn community is pretty special because it brings together, you know, a lot of people think it's just old ladies, right?
No,
and
it's not.
It's absolutely not. It's people who are
It's
7 years old all the way up to 99 years old. It's men, it's women, it's, I mean, men, like big burly men will come in and sit and knit. So
we've got several guys.
I know, it's amazing to me. So I'd never been exposed to the knitting community. I didn't even know how to knit at that time. And I was just blown away and just emotionally invested at that point, listening to, at one point I remember sitting at a table trying to learn how to knit, and I had a Holocaust survivor sitting on my right. I had a man on my left who had just lost his partner to AIDS. I had a woman in front of me who was going through a really bad battle with cancer. I had a 7-year-old little girl, and I just remember sitting and just kind of getting just chills and emotional and just, I can't believe that my mom has done this, you know? And I can believe it because I know what you're capable of, but I just never occurred to me. So, and it's not, you know, you're not just a small business owner. And I do think that I genuinely have fallen in love with the human beings that it takes, or the type of human it takes to be a good small business owner, because it really takes more than anybody ever gives it credit to. It takes tenacity, it takes guts. You face fear every single day.
Right.
You don't know if you're going to pay your bills. You're stressed all the time. You can't show it. I mean, there's just so many factors.
You have to be on the stage every day.
Every day.
But I'm used to that.
I know,
So,
and that's, you're right.
Sometimes I do go home and I go, oh, let me just take my shoes off. I don't want to move.
Well, or I don't want to talk to anyone because I've been talking all day. I can
all day.
appreciate that for sure.
But we have a wonderful community here. I think we're going to ask me about the hand-dyed yarn.
Yeah, well, I was actually going to talk to you, so we can start. We're already talking about Cindy Knit Shop. I know you started in the smaller business, but within 9 months,
I moved across the parking lot.
We had to triple in space because you couldn't. I mean, it genuinely was a fire marshal issue at that point.
Yeah, it was.
But what about the other shops in town? Wasn't it like 9 months later they were both gone?
You know, we had several open.
Right.
And they would close like 6 or 9 months, maybe a year after they opened.
Right.
Now we do have somebody that opened about a year ago.
Right.
She's about 7 miles from here.
Right.
A totally different atmosphere, which I'm not saying it's bad.
No,
I'm saying
it's good to have.
It's a cute shop. You know, it's very pristine and immaculate. And I think she does one knitting group a week.
Good.
You know, which is great.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a different type of clientele.
Right.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
We have all kinds here, but that's a big group of people, and I'm happy because I like competition.
Yeah.
But
well, it keeps you sharp. You know.
Not only that, but it services more people.
Yeah. Well, and I know that's been your goal from the beginning. I know initially those other 2 yarn shops that were open when you opened originally were closed within 9 or 10 or a month to 12 months, which you know I thought was a loss for the community from a knitting standpoint, just because. To your point, you were then the only one left for a while, and you were servicing all areas of town. So people who live across town didn't have access to yarn unless they wanted to drive 40 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever it was.
And you wouldn't believe how many people did not want to, so I would sell over the phone to them.
Well, people were
and ship.
People were begging us to begging you to open a second location across town, and obviously, thank goodness you didn't do it.
I just didn't know you could cut me here or cut me here.
Yeah,
there just was no way to cut me.
But I will say the thing that I think makes you most unique is you're not just a local knit shop. You do have, of course, indie dyed yarn, which we'll talk about in a minute, but you serve tourism just like everybody on the strip. You are a tourist attraction. Sin City Knit Shop is where knitters from around the world focus on, just like those women in the airport, and this is part of their trip to Vegas. Yeah, they'll hit the casinos and go to the shows, but they better hit that knit shop, and you're always the one.
We're close to the airport, so either they come here before they lose their money, you know, and they'd rather buy something tangible they can touch, or they've won money and they head out to go to the airport.
Yeah.
A lot of people come and sit. A lot of pilots come in and sit. Men sit and knit while they're waiting, you know, for their
flight or whatever.
We have a lot of stewardesses that come in when they're waiting.
But I mean, I genuinely we have this map in the back of the shop that has a pin for anybody who's visited and where they visited from, and it's damn near full at this point.
Well, the thing of it is we quit putting push pins in 3 years ago.
Oh my God!
So
I didn't know that
was 3 years ago, and I've needed to put more maps up.
I just don't have enough room.
I just don't have enough room.
Yeah.
So I started putting people out in the ocean.
Yeah, like they flew here through there.
Flew, yeah. But those, it's quadrupled, if not more than that.
It's incredible. So I mean, let's talk a little bit about your business model. You serve tourists, you serve locals. You've constantly evolved from the beginning. You're constantly looking for the latest, hottest yarn. You want to bring in some cool new stuff. You, of all people, have your finger on the trend of, even when I was little, you used to make me these weird shirts and flip-flops and outfits, and I'd be like, I don't like this outfit, and then a year and a half later, everyone would be wearing it, and I was like, where'd that shirt go?
Here's something else we do, and we haven't really talked about this, but we have a lot of people that bring us donations of yarn, and needles, and books, and they think,
they just want to get rid of it.
Somebody passes away and they don't know what to do with it. So they call up and I say, well, you want to buy it? I said, I can't buy it from you, but if you donate it, I will see that it gets to the charities. We have quite a few groups of women that I hand out donation yarn to, after teachers that have after school classes for knitting and crocheting. I give them the yarn. I give them the needles. So we support a lot of charities.
You do charities. Your business model is always evolving. I mean, it's multifaceted, obviously.
It is.
The one thing we started to talk about a moment ago is, the desire here in Las Vegas 5 years ago or so was, these big brand yarns are great, but we want something that's local, that we can call our own. So talk to me about your yarn of line that you started.
Well, about 3.5 years ago, I kind of realized, okay, there's these indie dyers. People are dyeing their own yarn.
In their kitchen sink.
And I have people coming to me tenfold every day. And they say, we want something we can only get here.
They want one of a kind.
We want something that you only get at Sin City Knit Shop. And we want it to knit with. We want to remember it by. So, started out with Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid, dyeing yarn with Kool-Aid.
Oh man, it smelled good. And it was really easy to do. So then we went from Kool-Aid, of course, to the acid dyes. And now I have Tink
Yarn.
Tink Yarn.
Local yarn company.
All right. Which you used to be.
I was part owner of at one point in time.
Yes,
I was a small business owner of that.
Yes. We have Pink Adobe Dye Works. We have Desert Panda Fiber. Those are just the locals. Okay. And then we have the Sin City yarn. Now, off of my Sin City yarn, I have designed or come up with a way to dye a certain way, and I have yarn that's called Roll the Dice.
So it's very Vegas-y. So people get that flavor of Vegas. They get the one-of-a-kind thing, and so that serves not just the tourism, but also the people who live here.
I have a whole line of sock yarn that's called Wild Aces.
Okay. We have the Vegas Golden Knights yarn, things like that.
We have Terry Tink is doing the Golden Knights, and we can't keep it in.
I know.
We just can't keep it in because the hockey team is so popular.
And I think the other thing to note is, along with you opening, there's obviously a little bit of luck, a little bit of, your plan and all of that, but really you busted your butt for this. I've watched it every single day. But along with your opening and the deciding factor of kind of making this thing work and fighting through the last 6 or 7 years, knitting became cool again, so then it was like all of a sudden the hipsters, the Lenny Kravitzes of the world are wearing these long knitted things. Everybody wanted to learn how to knit, so it's kind of a perfect storm a little bit for the growth of your company. I mean,
I don't think it'll ever go away.
No, knitting's never going to go away. I agree.
I mean, it died down. It was heavy and hot. Crochet was hot and heavy in the 60s. Love Child and all the granny squares and things like that.
And that's back.
And it's back. It's big time.
But even when the granny squares and all that is gone, there'll be another vibe or style that they can just transform into knitting. So it's never going away.
Out of this, of course, the big trend now is the hand dyed. Okay, but there have been so many fashions and styles of yarn, like the metallic, the t-shirt yarn, things like that has gone, and people are just eating it up.
Well, it's an art form. Crocheting and knitting is an art form that I don't think will ever go away. It's one of those fundamental things in society that sewing, knitting, crocheting, that kind of thing. So talk to me about kind of the future of Sin City Knit Shop. I mean, I know you guys host groups every night, and almost every night you've got classes, you've got specials, you've got it all figured out. But what do you see kind of things moving in the next couple of years?
Well,
what's got you excited, I guess?
I think, of course, I eventually at some point should retire.
That would be nice. So you could, enjoy your grandkids.
Enjoy my grandchildren. Some point in time I want to retire, but I will never quit working. Okay, it's just not in my blood to be idle. So I will probably keep at some point I will keep the hand-dyed yarn business.
Sure.
And go do 4 to 6 functions a year.
Sure.
And make a chunk on the weekends.
Right.
Still keep my nose in it.
Right.
Keep designing.
Right.
Garments.
Right.
And shawls and things.
Right.
But I want Sin City Knit Shop to still live.
Yeah.
I think it needs to live on.
Well, it's a big part of this community. I mean, it's
a big part of this community, and so I need to find because I can't physically be here all
forever,
the time and do all of this.
Right.
And I do need to, think about, hey, enjoy life a little bit. Well, I am enjoying life.
Right.
But I want it to live on, okay? And I want it to be some place that knitters and crocheters and fiber people can come to.
So really the goal now for you is continue to keep it rocking, but at some point put a succession plan together so that you can pass it off to someone else and that can take it and run with it and keep it alive while you go and find your next adventure. Yes. That's a few years away, I'm hoping.
Well, yes.
I mean, I'd like you to retire sooner, but obviously I don't think the community's ready for that yet. So
Thank you.
They love you. So if you guys are interested in learning more about Sin City Knit Shop or just coming to say hi to my mom, please stop in next time you're in Las Vegas. Even if you don't knit, just come and say hi. She's awesome. Everybody that meets her calls me afterward and says, your mom's amazing. So she's amazing. Obviously, if you like me, you're going to like my mom because this is who made me. This is why I am the way I am. If you want to learn more about Sin City Knit Shop, go to sincityknitshop.com. You can follow her on Facebook, on Instagram at Sin City Knit Shop. Really, at the end of the day, it's all about kind of small businesses and supporting our local community businesses. I'm super grateful that you let me do my first small business spotlight with you. It made it easy for me to kind of get into this vibe. And I think it's appropriate that you're my first one because, frankly, at the end of the day, you're the reason that I even am here doing what I'm doing. So,
well, thank you. Come see us anytime. Open knitting or crocheting. Everyone is welcome.
Yeah. So again, thanks again for watching the channel. If you could do me a favor, comment below. Let me know what you thought of this video. Say hi to my mom so I can share all the comments with her. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Like this video, share it with your friends. This is my effort, and these types of videos are my effort towards really helping you guys understand that Vegas is more than just the Strip, and it's more than all the casinos, and it's really about the people who create and build this vibe that we have going. The Vegas vibe is strong, and it's because of people like my mom. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you next time.